Okay, so Alex, at lane 17, we are just wrapping up your value stream mapping session, and we have a lot of brainstorming and solutions over there. But why don't you tell me how this week went, and was there anything that you didn't expect to get out of this, or did you conquer any of your big issues? Just tell me how you think it went. And I think we said, what, 50% capacity you could open up if all of these things come to fruition.
I still think that that's conservative. I think it went exactly as I thought. All of this stuff had been jumbled in my head for, honestly, the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And so it was really productive getting it out. I think the reason why a lot of these challenges never got solved is because I had trouble quantifying the problems and articulating it to the team. So this exercise, nothing here was surprising to me. But getting it out here and then all the different colored sticky notes of other people's, what bugs them, made it totally productive and then find solutions to those. And that was something that could never have happened in our hour weekly meeting or 15-minute, it required to sit down, separate, and lay it all out.
Yeah, it forces you to do the right thing.
Yeah.
It's a tremendous investment. You have some really highly skilled people in the room. They're here for days. But what do you think was your results? What do you think your opportunity results are from a hidden factory perspective? What kind of problems do you think you solved? And from a metric standpoint, what do you think you're going to get out of it?
I think actually having metrics was part of it.
That was number one, yes.
It was the action item list that we could never seem to get on paper before.
Yeah.
So it's we know we needed a gate review system, but we didn't even know it was called a gate review system. And so then we made the checklist of what that entails, figuring out that engineering was the bottleneck. How do we relieve the bottleneck? How do we make sure it stays the bottleneck or control point? And then other action items, having easy selections for clients, a place that's defined for our designer to pull on, and all things that are in my head that we had to get in some usable tool.
We have four major priorities there that we've clearly defined, and you've already got your prototype for your gate review system, and you're going to start your Kanban board, which was the other thing. So that solved some big issues. Your handoff to engineering, the gate review system, so we can make sure that we have that checklist, and that's going to reduce the amount of defects that make it out to the shop. The amount of interruptions that come in from the shop from an engineering standpoint, and then your cross training, because a lot of the interruptions are also having to go out and help the guys on the shop floor, which is causing downtime on your engineering bottleneck today. And then the metrics is the other one. You're going to be measuring your throughput through the hidden factory and the shop, so you're going to see how you're doing. And then, so that was with the dashboard, and then you're treating it like a bottleneck. So now you're protecting that bottleneck. At what, 50% capacity you could open up if all of these things come to fruition.
I still think that that's conservative.
So 50% we think is pretty easy to make that happen in the next X number of weeks. You have everything that's in process right now is going to have to flow through the system. Now, you did add a project manager. That's the other thing, but you'd already added him before we got here. But now it's very clear what his role is.
Well, technically, him coming here this week was his first day. So it was, he could learn through this whole thing, which I thought was good timing, because now, he even said that we just defined his job.
We just defined his role, yeah.
And so I think, part of lean, and like you said, everybody gravitates towards improvements in the shop first.
Yeah.
Which we started doing a year or two ago. There's big low-hanging fruit with those first couple improvements that for the shop turned into some equipment, some layout changes, and then it got more granular. We've never done it for the office.
Yeah.
And so these big low-hanging fruits are the gate review. It's eliminating distractions for the engineer. It's understanding where to place the control point and how to service it, which we had never even thought of those things in the office.
Most people don't think of having a control point in the hidden it's another factory. Right. It's another factory. We need to treat it if we understand the theory of constraints and control points and bottlenecks and what we should do in the shop, we need to apply the same thing in the hidden factory. Yeah. But most people haven't experienced that before. But they have a gut feeling maybe, but we want to manage it just like we manage a bottleneck out in the shop floor and meet the bottleneck. How do you feel after this week?
I feel good.
Yeah? Since you're the bottleneck, this is a high stress situation for you, right?
Yep.
So do you think that we have a solid action plan? We threw out a big number there. We said 50% capacity. Do you think we have a solid action plan to get there?
I do, yes.
You do, and you believe in it. So this is
I
great.
do believe in it, yes.
Awesome.
It was nice to finally get all of my complaints out on paper.
Yeah.
And we can all finally actually work towards like solving those problems.
Like Jason and I talk a lot about our complaints,
Yeah.
but it always is just like us kind of complaining and to each other as like a coping mechanism. Then we go back in our office and nothing changes.
And nothing changes, exactly.
And getting this out on the wall, and then everybody to see like as it applies to their workflow, like where some of the hangups could be, or like why we need to do a certain thing to deliver to Jason accurately, and so on. We never laid it out like that. It's hard to articulate it because there's 100 things on the walls right now. So I think that was like the most powerful thing is everybody sees the reality of what's happening, but then they can process it and apply it to their own job.
Okay, now we can actually do something about it. A clearly defined path forward to alleviate all of those issues. And then also, now we have something to show the shop.
Yep.
Right? Because the shop, especially if we start in the shop first, they kind of feel like they've been targeted and like, well, we get a lot of our issues come from the hidden factory. This is you saying, yeah, we know. We know we can do better. We know we can find the waste. We know we have a lot of, we want quality at the source. There's our quality at the source drawing there. And we know we have a bottleneck. We know where we are in the manufacturing continuum. We've talked about all that stuff. So we can show that to the guys on the shop floor, and they're going to have a lot more confidence that they're being listened to,
Right.
and that you're going to deliver them a better product.
Yeah, because in the big picture of the whole business, this is all to service what they're doing.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
like I said, it's because everything's typically in computers. It's the hidden factory for a reason.
Yeah.
How do you show them that? And so this has been very productive.